What it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here. And if you guys have noticed and finally come to the realization, MHA, My Hero Academia, or Boku no Hero Academia, has finally come to an end, both in manga form and also in anime format as well. But let's be completely honest. You guys really expect that Bones, alongside that of Toho Studios, is going to let one of their biggest money makers basically go that easily? Doubtful. But all the same, let's run down the clock. Run it back all the way to 2016 on how My Hero Academia went from a series I didn't think much and highly of to a series that became an integral part of my life. The year was 2016, my final year in high school. It was during this year that two certain animes coming out during the boom of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that being One Punch Man and My Hero Academia. However, one was a lot more interesting because of it being a, superhero anime about one guy that can never lose and always defeats his foes, with that of One Punch being a satire of the superhero genre, while the other is that I saw as basically another anime that was just going to get one season, never be picked up ever again, and basically tossed to the side like always. And where I would have to possibly read the manga just to understand on how the story actually goes. That's how it's always going to be and how it's always been since anime started getting more and more prevalent during that of the mid-2010s after all. Plus, during that time, Naruto was still kicking and running. I was enjoying other manga and anime as well, such as that of Shaman King, Magi, and also World Trigger as well. Series that I felt like were basically doing a lot more better when it came to that of their power system, being a lot more unique than the usual stronger power, stronger strength, stronger everything here and there and stuff like that. But back then I wasn't a big fan. I wasn't big on power scaling back then, as I am now. I moved on from high school and went straight into college, heading to that of my dream school so I can pursue my dream of working as animation engineer for that of video game companies, mainly wanting to do that of cinematics after all. Back then, it was my dream to be an animator, to tell stories through that of visual effects and that of, flashy animation and everything. Even to now, I still have original projects I want to do that were based on that animation dream. But that dream basically died out real quick when, at the end of my first year at my dream college, my parents told me, alongside my grandparents, said that the tuition was getting a lot more expensive, even with that of the financial aid I was given, and a few scholarships too that I gotten as well. But other than that, it was too much. Originally, I had a plan for a whole other scholarship during my senior year, but it fell through because of medical reasons. So instead of forcing my family to continue to go through that of financial hell, I decided to drop out, not wanting to put my family through any more financial hell than they already had. It really pissed me off, to be honest. But my family came first, so I went back home and just decided to go to that of my hometown's community college instead. They had a art design course, so I already took care of that. And surprisingly enough, little to that of my understanding, or anyone fucking told me, the digital classes I was taking were basically on college level anyway, during my time in high school. So I honestly already passed those classes without even needing to take them in my community college. It was just other classes I had to take, though. They were more of a little bit of a hassle after all. But after what happened at the college I originally wanted to, I decided to take up a part-time job anyway, without that of my family's consent. But even so, going through college, doing a job, everything else, I felt like I was just going with the motions, not really doing anything, just complete lack of interest in anything or anyone. Sure, I played tons of games and video games and all that, And they gave me a lot of inspiration for original stories, but without that of the actual skills, the money, and stuff that I need for that of my dream of being an animator, that basically died right off the spat. I also had to balance my time with spending with my girlfriend after all. That was always a struggle too. And the biggest hard-hitting thing was Naruto officially ended. The anime, like the anime with that of nonstop and basically overwhelming filler, also ended. And in its place, a series that basically has nothing but filler. And yet the filler characters are more interesting than the main cast of characters, which says something and so goddamn annoying. So I thought everything was coming to an end. A lot of good memories, dreams, and everything else coming to an end. But that's all changed when a certain anime that I basically wrote off as not even planning on getting a season 2 or not even worth having a second look at got a season 2. That being My Hero Academia. Originally, I thought that One Punch Man would get that of a season 2 sooner than My Hero Academia, given how popular it was and how much of a mainstream sensation it was too. But yet this series I wrote off as basically a series that was never going to do anything or be anything special, ended up getting a season 2. And so I thought, why not? Why not watch a few episodes here and there? And that's exactly what I did. I saw a story of a kid who basically was being put down over and over and over again. A story of a kid who all he ever wanted was to achieve his dream and didn't even want anything special out of it, just wanting to help and save lives. To Izuku was basically a representation of myself back when I was younger. The anxiety, the nervousness, being constantly put down. But unlike Izuku, I at least fought back, mainly due to anger issues. But other than that, I still could relate. I could still understand the feeling and those emotions all too well. But having that one person that believed in you, that one person that basically supported your dream, your ideals, how you want to be as a person, basically gave you that one pep talk, that one support, and you just feel like you can do anything to achieve it and not wanting to let them down. To me, that's why I began to respect Izuku more than I did when season 1 came out. And when it got to season 2, oh my god, there were so many comparisons to that of Naruto that it wasn't even funny. Funny enough, Horikoshi Sensei in a latest interview basically said it, that early half of Naruto, from the first few chapters all the way to that of the sports festival, were all inspired by that of Naruto, after all, before he decided to do his own thing. But even with that one little connection I had to Naruto was still there through MHA. And seeing the fight between Izuku and Shoto, that was the thing that basically sealed my fate. Not just as a fan of MHA, but as a devoted fan of anime in general. Back then, I only watched that of mainstream anime or anime that was popular at the time, or anime that was just, being abridged on that of YouTube when the era of abridging used to be so big back in the day, thanks to Little Karibo, Team 4-Star, and Something Witty Entertainment. But after watching My Hero Academia, I started looking up other anime, other series, even that of other manga too. And I found so many great stories instead of stuff that's just popular or mainstream to the public after all, or what was airing on Toonami at the time. Ironically, it was My Hero Academia that made me a full-on anime fan instead of the casual anime fan I was back in the day. Because back then, I was mainly more into video games, even now. And my love for My Hero Academia kept on going when I started reading the manga. When I saw the fight between that of Izuku and Muscular, when I saw All Might take on that of All for One, and Izuku becoming his own person outside of All Might. When I saw Izuku grow, it made me want to grow. I haven't felt that inspired and hyped since Naruto, and Ichigo too. And when it got season after season, it just continued to basically become one of my all-time favorites. The anime I was always looking forward to the most. Unfortunately, the hype wouldn't last for long when people started bad-mouthing, looking down, and treating it like shit. Even treating Izuku as well, which always pissed me the fuck off more than anything. And don't even get me started between that of the fall-off point for MHA, mainly here in Western countries, mainly from that of the United States, that of Mexico, and also that of Europe too, which was around that of 2022 to in that of mid-2023. However, the series was still going on strong though in that of Japan, where mainly most of its popularity, revenue, and everything else was still going on strong, with so many promotional materials, that of cafes in their name. And not only that, even when at the height of people basically bad-mouthing MHA back in 2024, it still had its highest popularity, with even having that of multiple art museums in that of MHA's name, art exhibits in that of his name in two major museums, national museums, in that of Japan, one in Tokyo and the other in Osaka, showing how much Hirokoshi's artwork has basically inspired so much. Even now, his work is basically now being used as examples in art classes now too, just like that of the GOATs, Toriyama Sensei, Araki Sensei, and Oda Sensei too. Shows on how much that MHA has basically done to that of Japanese culture as a whole in society. And now, currently in 2025, and we're reaching the end of this year with that of the final season of MHA. And I had to say, and people basically stopped. They shut up. They basically kept their mouths shut after that. All the people who used to badmouth, look down, and basically treat MHA with shit finally shut up. Many of them rewatched it, looking back after the final season came to an end, and realized they screwed up. They just kept on hearing people scream that it was mid, that it was trash, that it was bad, that it's all because of the fans' fault, that you should never get into it because of the fans. Look, you don't need to basically be involved with a fandom just to get into a series. That's like how I used to be, after all, when I was still a casual fan of anime back in the day. But with all of that, and basically the final season of MHA basically went on that of the greatest generational run of this year, alongside that of Dragon Ball Daimon, proves that this series was always one of the greats. One of the series that was the biggest within the Shonen Jump library, even till this day. And due to this, it's now finally getting the flowers it was owed. And it's about damn time. And honestly, you would think, with the end of MHA, I would basically be feeling dejected. Basically feeling like there's nothing else out there, like I did with that of Naruto. Unfortunately, you would be dead ass wrong. When you have series like that of To Be Hero X, to basically pull up the slack of a lack of superhero anime series, especially since it's a Chinese anime series, otherwise known as a donghua. To Be Hero X has basically filled the whole of the superhero genre, because let's be honest, One Punch Man is basically dead. This series is dead in anime format. And I'm just going to stick to that of the manga and the webcomic, because I would prefer it if the greatest story ever told about that of the disillusionment of heroes was done better. However, another series at the time, before I got into that of To Be Hero X, was also Gachiakata last year. It being the spiritual successor to that of Soul Eater also puts it up on the list of one of the most highly anticipated and greatest series I enjoyed this year, especially when I binge read the entirety of the manga too last year. It also helps, again, Rudo I can relate to pretty much as well, alongside the entirety of the other cast as well, because All the other side characters are so likable and memorable too, even half of the villains as well. So I see Gachiakuta as basically my next hype series I'm looking forward to, devoting myself to. However, again, I'm not just restricting myself to that of just 1 or 2 series. Other series that have also made a great impact at the end of MHA's lifespan came to me as well, especially a series that I see as the true spiritual successor of MHA, not that of, well, To Be Hero X, but that being Kagura Bachi. And when its anime comes out, oh boy, I am so hyped and stoked for what's to come. I hope you guys are as well. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I'd love to read how you guys see that of MHA and what series that you are looking forward to at the end of this series now. Because no matter what, MHA and the story that Horikoshi Sensei created is going to continue living on in the memories of everybody, no matter what anyone says. Close us off, my Shiro.
Hi everyone, this is White Fox. If you liked Leon's video, click the video on the left to see the most recent one. And if you want to see more of this, click the subscribe button and notification bell and check out his playlists. If you still haven't subscribed, do so in the center. With that said, I hope to see you again on my love's channel. Bye!